Hi, Psychic Frank's Mystery School. This is going to be one of those little 15-minute, and Gabby, one of those little 15-minute shows I do to supplement my 52-minute shows twice a month for SF Commons, which is still hanging on there for their dear life. Bayvac, I didn't realize it, but there's this revolving door that goes Bayvac's people that are just so despicable. Bayvac has to fire them. They go right to City Hall and go to work. There's this total revolving door. So the reason our shows aren't being tagged, referring to SF Commons, is it's not just Comcast, Bayvac. It's City Hall, and so yeah, I know when. But the fact is, now that I know, it took me 11 years to crack this mystery because they kept on gaslighting me, and but I finally figured it out. So I guess they didn't think I was a real psychic, and I showed them. Well, eventually when the virus is over and the studio opens again, I'm gonna have to go and do my shows and take calls from the public, and chances are I'll have to run into Mindy, miserable Mindy. Yeah, miserable Mindy. God, she's a wretched person. Um, she's just emotionally disabled, as is Jennifer, trying to prove that you don't need a penis to be as stupid as a man. So anyway, those two, they're just creating karma. I'm trying to help them. I'm finding something in there worth loving, their immortal soul, and just like you see a friend going in off a cliff, you want to like, hey, cut, But anyway, so anyway, in recovery they say the truth will set you free, but first it will make you miserable. So get ready for a lot of disclosure, a lot of truths, right, Gabby? And also, the reason I'm doing this show is because on Saturday, we've got a 12:17 in the morning, early in the morning, Saturday morning, the 27th of February, 2021. We have a Virgo full moon. Sun in Pisces right now. Sun in Pisces, 8 degrees, moon 8 degrees Virgo on the 27th. We only got a few more minutes here, Gabby, so hang on. Yeah, yeah, because with Pisces now, the options are unlimited. It's like a sea of options. Oh yeah, and another thing I want to talk about today is Donna Cunningham. It's a book she wrote in '76, and she left us. She left the planet. She was born in 42, so she was 5 years my senior. I'm 72, so yeah. So I really love Donna Cunningham. I remember reading her. I probably read this when it first came out, but she talks a lot about the positive, good stuff that going on, the positive expressions of Pluto, which I have labeled letting go, are actually the allowing of change and transformation to happen, or even bringing them about, both rebirth and regeneration. Gabby, please stop that. Yeah, she just likes to add her little 2 cents. I know, baby, you want to help. Yeah. Or words like rebirth and regeneration. In the like the phoenix side of Scorpio rising out of its own ashes. In the article quoted above, yeah, she talked. I don't think. Well, maybe we do have enough time. It's a 3-paragraph article. Don't forget, this was written in '76. And it's really important, I believe so. I'll read it. A research project done by Dr. Lawrence Leshane, capital SHAN, involving testing and interviewing 450 cancer patients and a control group of people who did not have cancer. He found that 72 of the cancer patients fit a particular personality pattern, while only 10% of the participants who did not have cancer fit it. The article is worth quoting because it contains very Plutonian emotional configuration. Yeah, when I first started doing my healings with cancer people, or it was the AIDS epidemic going on, when the family came in, I remember saying to myself many, many times, how did this person live this long? With a family like this, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, how did they exist as long as they did, you know? Shaking my head in bewilderment. Okay, so this is what it says now, okay? ... From early childhood on, these patients had serious problems establishing warm... Gabby, stop it! From early childhood on, these patients had a serious problem establishing warm and satisfying love relationships. They felt rejected and unloved and were constantly searching for ways to please others. Afraid of losing whatever acceptance they had, they almost never expressed their own intense feelings of anger, loneliness, hopelessness, and self-hatred. Although suffering severe psychic pain, they were considered by others to be unusually fine, thoughtful, sweet, gentle, and uncomplaining. See, it's uncomplaining people that die. You know, people who complain. Stop it. People who complain, doctors hate them. They call them difficult patients, the ones that question everyone. Like there's this ad going on now all over the ads on TV where it says, what is it, insurance something. Oh man, they're just despicable advertising is going on, you know. I lost my train of thought there. Okay, so although, yes, unconditional and uncomplaining. Sometimes during their adult lives, these people had been able to achieve a relationship with a person or with their work that brought their first experiences of joy and fulfillment. In some cases, this was a successful marriage. In others, the pleasures of parenthood or a career that seemed to bring along hidden talents and strengths. But in each case, the patients discovered hidden reserves of energy and, for the first time in their lives, felt truly optimistic about themselves in the future. Then this phase of their lives ended. The marriage developed serious problems, or the much-loved spouse died, children grew up and left home, the individual was forced to retire from work that had been a central focus of life. After the loss, these patients retreated into old patterns of behavior. They became isolated and experienced great fatigue. They felt rage and grief, but never expressed their feelings openly. They seemed to accept their fate as their due, as if they had known all along that this would happen. Amen. I'm experiencing that right now with a few people. Then sometime within the next 6 months to 8 years, they developed cancer. He had this 85-year-old friend of mine who's a recovering, substance abuser. Never worked on any of the steps. Never worked on his character defects. And he's 85 now, and I hadn't talked to him since, very rarely now since the epidemic, since the virus thing. But he touched base with me the other day, and he rattled off these initials. I asked him, why are you smoking cannabis? And he said, oh, no, he's doing opiates. Because the VA hospitals pushing opiates. They're totally anti-cannabis. So VAs, that they have the course all figured out for them. So this guy said to me, I said, what were those initials you just ran by me? He said, OCPD, Frank. It's because I smoked like a chimney. I smoked cigarettes for years and years, Frank. So this is what happens now. I didn't say anything, I just shook my head and I went, well, he had a good life, I guess, But this is what they're saying about now, work on your character defects. You got to establish this faith and the determination that life in you is unobstructed. When hell freezes over, I'll skate. I used to go to doctors just for the diagnosis, and then I came home and worked with healers. Thanks, Gabby. I really appreciated that. Yeah, there's another thing I wanted to repeat here. Then she goes, as you can see, there are so many devastating effects of this holding in response in Pluto that it is no wonder Pluto and Scorpio have such a bad name. Yet it is our use of the planet's energy rather than the planet itself that is bad. The power of the planet can be used for either good or bad, and we choose consciously or unconsciously how we will use it. With the greater awareness that we can gain by studying astrology comes a greater responsibility to make the best use of each planet and sign. When this is nowhere more true than with Pluto, a planet with tremendous power for either destruction or transformation. Let's us look then to see how Pluto can be used constructively to change our lives for the better. Well, we have 5 minutes left. You gonna let me hang in here, Gabby? The positive expressions of Pluto, which I have labeled letting go, are actually the allowing of change and transformation to happen. Let go and let God, or even bring them about. Rebirth and regenerations are words which describe this whole Pluto thing. Other uses of Pluto can be quite dangerous, and then she talks about giving your power away to even psychics. The fear of our essential isolation, I feel, is fairly universal. Two things can help us to overcome it. One is to concentrate on your own development, learning to express to the fullest your own unique gifts and creative talents, and we all have them, so that you feel complete and fulfilled instead of inadequate and inconsequential. This bird's a real pain in the ass, isn't she? Thanks for bearing with me. We've been together over 26 years now, so I feel like Peter Sellers and Cato, always attacking him to keep him, helps me keep my mind in sorry, I apologize if you saw me going to hit her with a towel. I wouldn't have hit her. I would have just made got her attention. Religious science and other groups would teach that there is one power which created and which permeates every person, place, and living thing in the universe. Stop it, honey. Stop it. I can't even see where she is now. Where the hell did she go? Well, anyway, thanks for sharing this little bit of wisdom I wanted to share with you guys. Oh, yeah, my favorite, Viktor Frankl, who lived around the time of Jung and Freud, and he studied back in Victoria way time there, Freud's time, Jung's time. He studied heroin addicts, 100 of them, and he concluded every one of them had the common denomination that they both felt they had no purpose. They had no meaning in their life. You have to find meaning in your life. You have to follow your gut instinct. Like, look at me. Look where I'm doing. I'm no example, but I'm happy and I'm honoring my gift. It's gotten me in a lot of trouble because I'm causing good trouble now, hopefully for Bayvac. Yeah, Mindy is, I don't hate Mindy or Jennifer. They're just emotionally disabled. And I feel sorry for them. Right, Gabby? We don't hate anybody. Come here. Come here, baby. Come here and say goodbye. Come on, honey. Oh, I love that bird so much. Okay, so there's a few little things I say. What is to give light must endure burning. Thank you. And again, the truth will set you free, but first it will make you miserable. That's common knowledge for people in recovery. But this year, we're all in recovery because more and more disclosures. Oh, yeah, the tax records, Donald Trump's tax records are now the black and white proof that he was bought and sold by Putin. Oh, it's going to get good. Nixon, president who became a crook. Trump, a crook who became a president. And then there's one guy I know from YouTube, his YouTube shows, Mangy Fedlocks. He wrote an orange Idi Amin. That's a good one. Look him up. Idi Amin was a despicable Hitler-like person. But I like, they're going Idi Amin instead of Hitler or Mussolini. That's kind of played out. And let's see if there's another couple. We've got one more minute. I said it was going to be 15 minutes. Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. So once again, I've been in some tough places, but you know, I always, when I was at my worst, I always said, you know, at least they can't take this away from me, my consciousness. So love is the only way to grasp another human from being the innermost core of. Love is the only way to grasp another human being in the innermost core of his or her personality. That's why I said, Jennifer, Mindy, I don't hate you people. I actually love you. I never really got to know you. You came on like, you know, bullies and just took over like mobsters and threw us down the toilet. But now I understand. I understand how corrupt it is and how tempting that must have been for you. But please, you know, love yourself a little. Look in the mirror, do a little inventory, and say to yourself, "Man, what did I goddamn do? Shit, I threw SF Commons under the bus, man. They're bleeding to death, and it's my fault." Mindy, Mindy, snap out of it. I'm talking about Bayvax, Mindy, and of course Jennifer. Jennifer, you twisted piece of crap. Anyway, I love you in spite of that. I know the real person you is a diamond, but you're choosing to be a piece of crap. I pray for you guys. Namaste. And please pray for SF Commons, man. It's the last bastion of freedom. The radio stations are all bought up by corporations. This is it. SF Commons, and we are bleeding to death thanks to Mindy and Jennifer, and of course, the king of San Francisco, Willie Rare. May he rot, that son of a bitch. I love you guys. Namaste. I'll be doing a 52-minute show in a couple of days, but have a happy full moon. I love you guys.